Okay, smile everyone. You are on camera. I want to say welcome here tonight. My name is Mark Mincy. I'm a retired school teacher. I've been a college professor, also a seminar leader and author and consultant, among other things. But the most important thing I am is I'm alive. Thanks to this education and to the loving people at this place that are doing this to help people, I came in here 50 pounds heavier, and now I went from this big fat guy when I walked in. I was that big, 306 pounds, and now this is me. And just since I joined this group.
What day did you walk in, Mark?
It took 10 weeks to do that. But they set me there. It took 10 weeks for this to happen. And they sat me down. They said, look, clean out your refrigerator. Use these spices, garlic, turmeric, pepper, cayenne pepper, and onion. I put it on every time that I do vegetables and cook it in something that will be healthy, that Blue Zone people use. Most Blue Zones use coconut oil. So I cook in coconut oil constantly. It's very good for you. And so what happened was I got rid of the processed meats. I got rid of sugar and bread. They don't really advocate getting rid of bread unless you can't get healthy bread, because there is an issue with our bread in this country. And I would eat bread if I could find healthy bread. Eventually I'll find it. But I've dropped from 306. I'm now down to 252. Next week or the next week, I'll be in the 240s. My goal weight is 220. And so I have a goal, and I'm going to achieve that goal. And sometimes I'll have yogurt with blueberries. Sometimes I'll just have blueberries. Sometimes I'll have a pound of blueberries. I'm just a guy that likes fruit. I love it. I run 4 miles a day. I've always been a runner. My knees and joints are good for that. God made me that way. People, as they get older, don't always, they have to swim or bike ride. That's okay. Do whatever you got to do, but do it for 40 minutes a day. And it takes me at least 10 minutes to go a mile, so I do 4 miles. Is happiness a choice? Okay, I see you shaking your head up and down, so tell me why you're saying happiness is a choice. Say something, so go ahead.
Yeah, I would say this. Everything is a choice. Nobody held a gun to your head and said you had to lose weight or go to the Blue Zone diet.
That was a choice.
It was a choice that you made. So why wouldn't happiness be a choice? And sadness is a choice as well. It's all a choice.
Okay, so if everyone agrees happiness is a choice, raise your hand. Okay, good. We have a consensus. Everybody here says happiness. I also agree. Happiness is not just a thing of luck. Happiness is intentional, and it is a choice, and it's tied to choices. And the main choice that I connect and that this program connects to happiness is being able to align your core values, what you really believe in, with your thoughts and with your actions. If you're not aligning your core values, your stress is going to go up, and you just shortened your life. So people that do that tend to be happier. If you align your core values, what you really believe in, with your thoughts and with your actions. So that means thoughts are really important, because based off your thoughts, that's how we do our actions. So I'm going to show you a quick video right here, As a Man Thinketh. This video is connected to a page that I call Blue Zone 2. And it is on a website that's called got-heaven.com. So you caught me there. I am a Christian, I have a Christian background, but that doesn't mean that people that go through this program are Christians. They are everything. Because
important that if you implement it fully in your life will transform and become the ideal life you dream of. The fundamental idea of this book is that your life is literally shaped by your thoughts. James tells us that every thought you have is like a small seed. you plant in your garden. And if you plant negative seeds in your mind, you will get negative results. But if you plant positive thoughts in your mind, you will get positive results. But one thing is for sure, your garden, whether you like it or not, will give you something. That's why it's your job to go inside your mind, make sure that the thoughts there are positive and
So I'm going to hit pause. So right away they said your thoughts are seeds. And they are seeds. And the seeds of your past grow up, and that's who we've become. But you don't have to dwell on that. You can plant new seeds today. You can cut old trees down from the past that you don't want to have. We can have a new future right now. One of the things that I'm so excited about by learning this and going through this book is just the idea that you can change your world one thought at a time. Truly. Just by applying the thoughts from this course, I went from 306 down to the weight I am 10 weeks later. But you can do that with your money, you can do it with your thought life. You just need some ideas on how to do that. In my old life, I learned two things about Bloom's taxonomy. How many of you have heard of Bloom's taxonomy? I've got one teacher here, because they grind it into the teachers' minds, and they tell you this. If you memorize something, that's called knowledge. But I learned this. If you cannot say it in your own words, you don't know it. That applies to a lot of things. But boy, if you do, then you can take that lowest level of knowledge and you can apply it to solve problems. And that's called analysis, synthesis, application, and evaluation. What does that mean? Take things apart, put things together, and solve problems. Apply them to the real world. So I took the information from this class on what to eat, what not to eat, how much to exercise, what to take out of my refrigerator, and then I thought about stuff that I could do with things that I own and stores that I could go to meet that requirement, and then I did it. And that's all it takes. So literally, you can organize your mind, you can change every aspect in your life by one thought at a time. How many people have 40 thoughts a day?
I have way
How many people have 400 thoughts a day?
at least that. If not more.
Now the next question is, and I'll get into this later, how many people assess each thought and put it where it belongs?
I actually
So I'm going to teach you how to do that before this last 10 minutes is over. I got 10 minutes, I got to hurry, because I'm not going to keep you here all night. But this is simple stuff, but if you get it and you apply it, it changes your whole life. So the fact is, like this book says, your mind is a garden. And whatever you plant in it, all kinds of things are birthed out of that. And the book is called, As a Man Thinketh, So Is He. What does that mean? If you say it in your own words, I'll tell you. What you think is who you are. You become what you think. So thoughts that are interjected to you, does that matter? Yes, it does. Especially if you're not good at organizing those thoughts and determining how to categorize them. And there's a way that you can do that. So let's...
this book. Number 1, effect of thought on circumstances. James gives us an example of 3 people to show us that no matter what situation you are in life, your thoughts are responsible for it. The first is a very poor man. He is extremely anxious and wants to improve his surroundings and his life. And yet all the time he complains about his work and feels justified to lie to his boss in order to get a higher salary. This man does not realize that not only will he never be able to get out of his situation by having such a negative attitude, he is actually digging himself a deeper hole. The second is a very rich man. He has a very painful disease and he will pay large sums of money to get rid of it. But he will not give up his desire for unhealthy food. He's not even willing to give up his thoughts that lead him to eat unhealthy food, and therefore he will never be able to cure his disease no matter how much money he has. The third
Because maybe somebody here knows. How do you change the way you think? Go ahead.
So, a few years ago, I was in a very difficult relationship. And my brother and I were having a conversation. And at some point during this very difficult relationship, I made a choice to start looking for all the joy I could find, purposefully. And my brother said to me, you know, Marcia, you're in a really difficult situation. What have you been doing to survive? And I said, I find joy in every moment I can find. And when I started finding joy and embracing it and experiencing it, it changed my happiness level in the situation I was in. And within 3 years after making that change, I was out of the situation. It wasn't necessarily a great end, but it's really interesting because stepping out of the situation, there was no fallback. I never went back to it. And the other thing was, because I made that choice for myself, I've been using the same thought patterns to work on effectively my son, who is one of those guys that will beat himself up for everything. And his thought patterns have been negative. And since I've been doing it, I've seen changes in his life as well through my thought patterns.
Can we give her a big hand? Pretty big. Because if we don't change our thoughts, we can't lose 1 pound. If we don't change our thoughts, then we are destined to do whatever our old thoughts are. We don't know how to get new thoughts. And her answer was perfect and spot on. She took every thought and she figured out how to be thankful and grateful about every thought. And so this is what happened to me. This is my testimonial. I started running like 1 mile a day for weeks. And then finally I was like, I can go farther. So then I started running 4 miles a day. And I was listening to these videos and these books and reading them and listening. And I just thought, and there's another video down here. I'm going to refer that to you to go to it on your own. We don't have time for it tonight. But if you go to this website and push on that video, that's what really changed me. And I'll explain how that worked. But I knew the power of thinking, and I just wanted to know how. This is the how. And it's much like what Dr. Marcia just explained. And she is a doctor, by the way. But anyway, I started running, and I decided, after listening to this video, it was a video about take every thought captive and conform it to the mind of Christ. Now, for an atheist, what that means, and for anybody else, and if you don't want to use those words, and there's another way to say it, take the lie that you're believing, the mistruth that's guiding you down depression, or I'm not losing weight when you really are, or whatever it is, and then take that thought captive and go, okay, I've got that thought, and then think about what is true. So, the mind of Christ, if you really knew it all, none of us here do. Nobody can know the perfect mind of Christ, but if they did, it would be pure truth. But if you go from lies to as much truth as you can go to, you're going to change that thought and put that old thought to rest. One of the best tricks that heavy psychology will do for people with childhood issues is they'll say, go there to that little child, go to the inner child, and then look over that little child, hover over that little child, and think about what would the adult say to that little child. That's a great exercise. But I want to go a step farther, because my purpose is to love God with all my heart, soul, and strength, love my neighbor as myself, and go into all the world, because I have a purpose in life. My purpose is a Christian purpose. That's the one I've chose. You can choose whatever purpose you want, but you better have one, because Blue Zone says you got to have one. And guess what? I think they're right. It's working for me. So I take every thought, and as I ran around that 4 miles, I counted 40 thoughts. And those thoughts were negative. They were childhood issue thoughts. And as each thought came up, I said it verbally. I said, I take this thought captive. Okay, I got this thought. I got it. Obedience. I'm gonna make this thought obedient to truth, to the purest truth I've got. And for me, that's the mind of Christ. And so I thought about the truth, as much truth as I could that I could think about. And I said, this goes all over. I just imagine it floating like in water and being soaked in truth. And then that one went away. And I did that 40 times. I was like, I can't believe I had that many thoughts, and I didn't even know I was having these thoughts. Well, they all went away. The next day, I had 20 more thoughts. And then I did the same thing, and they went away. Guess what happened on the third day? I only had 3 thoughts, and they went away easy. And I was living in the moment. And all of a sudden, I was like, wow, this is a beautiful neighborhood. I never even noticed the neighborhood. I was so busy. I'm so happy about it. I couldn't wait to come here tonight to say, you can change your world one thought at a time. And I really know it because I've lived it. And guess what? As we do it, we can change the whole world one thought at a time. The most powerful thing there is a thought. I never realized that. I didn't know I could manage each thought. It's to be willing to do this on every thought and learn what your purpose is and stick to it. That's how you're going to live a long life. That's how you're going to bless everyone around you. And that's how you're going to be able to live your purpose-driven life, or whatever purpose you're going to connect yourself to. And so what I'm recommending today is take the lies one at a time, no matter who you are or what your background is, and put as much truth on every one of them. If it's thankful and gratefulness, that'll do it. There's more truth in thankful and gratefulness than being negative. This book talks about over and over, be a positive thinker, be a positive thinker. However you think, that's what you become. And guess what? We are going to live long and we are going to prosper. Because of Blue Zone, it leads us down that path. And so I really like Blue Zone. I liked it so much. I started it's a YouTube station. It's called Blue Zone with Mark. I'm going to put this video on it. If you want to see it again, it's going to be on there. And so if you go on your phone and look up Blue Zone with Mark, I have every Uber rider that gets in my car go to Blue Zone with Mark. I've almost got 100 subscribers in 2 weeks. And they're nothing videos. They're garbage. But guess what? They're all going to learn how to come here and live like you guys are living. You're the lucky ones. I'm the lucky one. We found this group. We found the truths of Blue Zone so that we can change our lives. Will we be able to say it in our own words? If you can do analysis, synthesis, application, and evaluation, and you can problem solve in your life. You guys are all problem solvers. You're applying this to your life. You're changing. She lost 100 pounds. She's a hero in the group. I'm trying to catch up to her. I want to lose 100. I got 50 to go. It's so awesome to see the lives changed, but it only happens one thought at a time. And if you quit assessing every thought, then you're not a good workman. And guess what? You'll gain that weight back. That's how it happens. That's how you lose your wealth. That's how you lose your family. That's how you lose everything. Don't let your mind be a playground. Stay positive. Stay disciplined. You will have a bright, bright future. And everyone that gets around you are going to say, why are you so positive? This just rubs off on me. I just want to hang out with you. And it's just, you're infectious.